Speaking about NFL great Eric Dickerson, Eric Dickerson was asked about his Mount Rushmore of the greatest running backs ever, and Dickerson himself was one of the greatest backs ever. And I always like to hear when people talk unequivocally about who are their all-time favorites, and I mean especially in football, because basketball it's usually the same old same. Very seldom do you hear people say something that you don't, that you get a Scooby Doo moment. But Eric Dickerson, who's always made it be known who his all-time favorite back is, the late great O.J. Simpson, and he said O.J. is one of them. He said um, Walter Payton. He said Barry Sanders, and he said Earl Campbell. And then he was asked who's the best player modern day ago, and he said Derrick Henry. I like all of. I mean, the interesting thing about those four is this: OJ does belong as one of the four greatest running backs. Don't get it twisted, and don't let public persona and these people try to sway you and talk about all that and all the jokes and all the stuff they did. The man, well, not guilty by the way, but the man was one of the greatest football players ever. And if you were going to just go by his career, you got to have O.J. Simpson as one of the 10 greatest NFL players ever for impact alone for the first 2,000-yard seasons and being the greatest player of the 70s. That's a fact for a running back, especially when quarterbacks get all the juice and then receivers do. So that alone. When we talk about Walter Payton, Sweetness was a bad dude. Tough as nails. Guy that could just go through you, affect you. You couldn't go wrong with Walter Payton. And he's the three of these guys he mentions are on my top 5 ever. Peyton was a bad dude. He was strong, agile, and he was carrying that team. That's back when cats really carried a team. Really. You asked the guy, non-quarterback, to be the offense and the deep to circulate. Walter Payton did that. He came up huge. He was doing things. Barry Sanders, who reminded me of a smaller version of O.J. Simpson, bounce back, elusive, cutbacks, was incredible. Incredible. I still remember that 99 see we did 2,000 yards. His was in 14 games too, because he had first 2 weeks he didn't do too good. Tampa Bay hit him up pretty good, and he went crazy the last. It's just one of the most electrifying players ever. Just incredible talent. Just never had the right quarterback, and they could never get over the hump. What you're seeing now with Detroit Lions wasn't happening back then. Same thing with OJ. The Bills, the Lions weren't those kind of teams. The Bears never had a quarterback like what they got with Caleb Williams, where they look like they're offensive oriented. So you're seeing some things there. Now, his last choice, the Tyler Rose, Earl Campbell, the Derrick Henry of his time. Powerful, strong. Played for the Houston Oilers, the Love You Blue era. I was living in H-Town, and let me tell you, people went crazy. Earl Campbell was no joke. Physical, and in his days with Texas Longhorns to his NFL debut, that dude was no joke. If you ever get a chance to see that hit for the Rams, I want to say Isaiah, can't think his last name. Anyway, he played for Rams. He got popped trying to go against Earl Campbell by the goal line for the Rams. Got hit. And that was no joke. I remember, I think L.C. Greenwood tried to hit him too for the Steelers. But the thing about it, Earl Campbell packed a punch. I still remember that Miami game when he made that long run. I mean, he had so many long runs. Take out the refs call in Pittsburgh, he may have gone to a Super Bowl. We'll never know what would have happened with everything with him. But one of the baddest cats to ever play. So I have no problem with Eric Dickerson's Mount Rushmore football running backs, because he had O.J. Simpson, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Earl Campbell. And Campbell is one of my 10 all-time greatest running backs. I might not necessarily put him top 5, but he's in the top 10. Can't ignore the Tyler Rose. That was a bad dude. They all bad. And Dickerson was bad himself. So I like when I see stuff like this, when people are talking about their and they don't sound cliche. Because that's not cliche. Some people now, amongst those guys, OJ won't get his due because they're political pressure about saying things because they worried that they're going to upset some people. Bump that. Stick to what you feel. And the second thing is this. Walter Payton will get that. Barry will. Earl Campbell doesn't always get his due. That should be acknowledged. So I like when people talk real talk. And ED be talking real talk. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like and hit that membership, because when you do, the videos you request, I bring them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay real, stay woke, stay true and honest. I'm out one time. Peace.